What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the KO Breakdown. I'm your host, the fight analyst, Jared Cannonier, and with me, as always, is my man, the Joe Danger himself, Jesse Hobson. What's up, man? How's it going?
The Joe Danger, the real Joe Danger, whatever you want to call me. It looks really good. I have to compliment the backdrop here. We just look more professional as the weeks go on, and you
Oh,
guys are here for along for the ride.
absolutely, man. We're looking good here on our new home at the Props Network and presented by Playmaker. We also have a promo code here, if you guys see, for Prize Picks. 100% on up to $100 on your first deposit. Prize Picks is actually pretty dope. It's over unders, pretty simple, especially MMA. I mean, you got some of these great props like over 1.5 rounds on takedowns, minutes props and significant strikes. It's pretty simple. You hit two, just two, you win. Three in a row, you win. Five, if you hit 5 out of 5, it's 10 times your money. I mean, why the hell not? $10 wins you $100. It's some money there. I'm really loving the format over there. But what's up, man? How's everything going? I mean, we actually raked in a ton of money last weekend at UFC Vegas 57. I know you cashed in some bets, right?
Yeah, let's see. We got the Dinopolis. That was my stab of the week. That was pretty cool. I was just as surprised as you were to actually for that to come into fruition. She just wasn't really controlling the fight, but happy to cash.
30-27. Oh,
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. I would assume that the judge was just probably watching her butt like jiggle. She's a good fighter, but I really just don't think that she won that fight. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, there was a couple other ones too, but that's the one that stands out really big for me. Yeah, I mean, I broke down both this week and next week just so I could be prepared. I want to look forward to these things. I don't want them to be chores for me. And
right.
I will say one of them was a little bit more interesting and entertaining to break down. But either way, we're here and we're going to make some money.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. We're here to put money into your pocket, just like we did last week. We're going to do the same this week. I mean, we got a stacked card. UFC 276 on tap. Headline for the middleweight championship of the world. Israel Adesanya is looking to defend his title against Jared Cannonier. And then also the trilogy between Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway for the Featherweight Championship. This fight card is stacked. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to breaking it down for you guys right now. All right, starting first on the early prelims, we have a fight in the women's bantamweight division between Jessica Rose Clark and Julia Stoliarenko. Right now, Clark's the minus 180 favorite, and the comeback on Stoliarenko plus 155. Who do you got?
Call me crazy, but I like the underdog here.
I'm
While
calling you crazy.
I
You, sir, are crazy.
I just been
Crazy.
disappointed by Clark so many times. She is a decision machine, and I think she shoots at the least opportune time here, and ultimately finds her way into another armbar, another one. She hasn't looked great lately, and I think that rough patch just continues. The pick is Storolenko, and the play is Storolenko by sub. Um, yeah, I just have been disappointed by Rose Clark so many times, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but everyone riding with her is probably going to continue to be disappointed. Win or lose, she's going to look bad.
I don't know, man. I mean, these are the type of girls that's Jessica Rose Clark tends to beat. She doesn't beat the fighters that have a lot of potential or that are actually in the top echelon of the division. Stephanie Egger has a lot of promise. She's a really good fighter. I think she's
Didn't you
got
bet against her too?
I didn't bet on I bet
Yeah,
on Clark in that fight.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
just
did.
meant.
So, yeah, I did. I mean, I'm like that, and that's why I'm keeping up with it because, like, I know where she wins, I know where she loses. This is not a fight where she's gonna lose because you look at the Jocelyn Edwards fight, you look at the Sarah Alper fight. Those are fights that she shined in because they're not Stephanie Egger, they're not Panny Kianza, they're not Jessica Eye. You're talking about the girls that are really at the top. Sonorenko, I'm pretty sure she's 0-2 in the UFC. She's looked bad in every single one of her fights, like extremely bad. I'm sorry, she's 0-3 in the UFC. and she got finished in 2 fights ago. It's just I just can't see this is the fight that she is victorious. I mean, she has 0 wins against anybody that has more than 5 professional fights, and she lost to Pannie Kianzad as well back in the day. Lost to Leah Letson. That's a bad look.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I looked into it. I just see the sub. It's gonna come. Clark is gonna attempt a takedown and ultimately just get caught.
I mean, it's definitely possible, but I think she's gonna be smarter about it because of how bad it went last time. Going in and going for the takedown against someone you probably could beat on the feet. I feel like she's not gonna make that mental mistake here, because she has such a massive advantage on the feet, and she can pick her apart all day with relative ease. So I don't see how she can lose this fight unless she's the one that takes her to the mat, because I don't think Stoliarenko's wrestling is good enough to get her there. So we'll see. We'll see.
The one thing I can guarantee is that if Rose Clark does lose, she's going to blame everyone else but herself. So yeah, just look for that. In her post-fight tweet. We shall see. We shall see what happens, because I want her to win. She's really good with the fans. I've seen her at these events, before the fights happen, where the photo ops and things like that. She always has a line, and she's always interacting with the fans on Twitter. I would hate to see her get tossed. Because I think she has potential. She just needs to put it together.
And that's why I think they're giving her, a layup fight. She's the marketability here, and they're giving someone that she could beat that's 0-3 in her last 3 fights. I mean, this is more towards the Sarah Alper fight than anything else. I feel like she should be able to dominate here, and she should look like a -300 favorite. Should. Hopefully she doesn't get to the point where she's looking like -300 and until she's not, essentially. But I gotta say, what's up to Matt Pauly? What's up? Thank you for tuning in. And then, of course, our man, the resident Forrest Daniels. Will Jesse prove is wrong in this fight? It's definitely possible. Prove us wrong. I'm assuming that's what he's saying.
Yeah. Who
see. Knows? You did it last week. I wouldn't be surprised this week. Jessica Rose Clark could be my apple pie shitter. Who knows? We'll see.
But I do think that you got in at the right time, because obviously that, we talked about it off air. This line is moving. People are seeing what you're seeing, right. And I think that's just going to play more into my favor over time.
Yeah, I wouldn't really like to play Jessica Rose Clark at -180. -155 is really was good enough for me. I just didn't think it was going to move as much as it did. In just the last 12 hours, it's moved a ton. So a lot of people are kind of seeing what I'm seeing here and figure she should be, a heavier favorite. And I'm hoping she cashes for us, because I really don't like being on the side that all the public is on. But, here we are, and we'll see how it works out. All right, moving on. Next fight up is in the women's flyweight division between Jessica Eye and Macy Barber. Right now, the line is set at Barber -265 in the comeback on Eye's +225. What you got?
So Macy tends to lose by decision, and Eye tends to win by decision. I think Macy is the right side here, and with the way these decisions have been judged lately, Eye might be worth the stab. I'll be sitting this one out, though, or at least taking a shit or something. I don't know. I'll be doing something else other than probably watching this fight. People are always talking about how hot Barber is. I just don't see it. I do see her forehead, though. It's like the first thing I see. Outside of that, she's gonna, everyone wants to talk shit about Jada Pinkett Smith and her alopecia. If Macy continues to pull her hair the way it is, she's gonna be sitting in the same row as Jada Pinkett. You open up the freezer, bam, forehead. So ultimately, the play is Macy Barber, or the pick is anyway. Sorry about that. The play, like I said, just take a break. There's plenty of other fights coming up. Don't waste your money. It's a little steep for women's MMA for me.
Yeah. Don't bet on this fight. let me start off with that. Do not bet on this fight. I'm like, this is a fight where it's like, I don't know why I would circumvent myself from actually betting on this, especially at the line that it's given. I mean, but then again, I'm talking about betting on Jessica Rose Clark. So here I am talking about not betting on this fight, but I'm betting on the other fight. I don't know. But either way, this is not something I really want to, be a hold of. Granted, I really sucks, and she's only 1-4 in her last 5 fights. I think she beat Jennifer Meyer in that fight. I honestly think she got snubbed in that decision. She outstruck her. She actually had some control. She landed some takedowns. Granted, I think, and she was the one that was being the aggressor. I think she should have won that fight. I had Meyer in the fight, so I was like, I'll take it all day. But I mean, would I be surprised if I wins this fight in a close decision? No. And then I by decision is plus 350. Why the hell not? I mean, It's going to be a close decision regardless. I don't see Barbara really finishing her.
I don't either. I really don't.
You're going in there. It's 50-50 at the judges because you know how the judging works. And you're getting plus 350 on the cards.
Yeah, and it'll probably be even crazier come fight time.
Right.
I would assume anyway.
Yeah, because, I mean, the money's still coming in on Barber. I think everybody's just going to keep adding to Barber as their parlay pieces as she's a lock, and it might even get somewhere north of like minus 300. It's already at minus 286, minus 290 at some places. So if you were going to play the dog here, just for shits and giggles, $5 wins you probably, 20 bucks. I mean,
yeah,
something like that, or $10 win you 40.
Well, even on Monday, it was minus 225, and I was just plus 200. So I mean, it's been cruising, and I don't think it's going to stop.
Yeah, no, me either. All right, so next fight up, we got a fight in the middleweight division, which I'm really looking forward to this fight. Might I add, between Uriah Hall and Andre Muniz. Right now, Muniz is at a minus 295, minus 300, minus 315 around the place. And the comeback on Uriah Hall is plus 245. Who do you got?
While Muniz, he can and has been knocked out, I'd assume he does get it done here. It is possible that he wins by KO, hammering down on Hall, why he's like with his legs wrapped around him or something, but likely he'll get the sub. But here's the thing. Hall has 0 sub losses, which really surprised me. And I think that this will probably be the first one. So I'm picking Andre to win. I'm also picking him or playing him by sub.
I'm going out on a limb here. And I'm probably going to be the only person thinking this. But give me Uriah Hall by knockout at, I think, plus 400. Okay.
Well, he can be knocked out. So he can, like it has happened by lesser competition.
It's happened numerous times.
Exactly.
Numerous. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. I think about like 4 knockout losses, if I'm not mistaken. But this man can get his head knocked clean off his shoulders. And then also, if we look back at the Antonio Arroyo fight, guy with similar build as Uriah Hall, similar type of takedown defense, similar striking, and he had some troubles with Arroyo. I think it was only 29-28 in favor of Muniz. He wasn't able to hold him down. Arroyo was able to get back up on multiple occasions. And on the feet, he was getting chewed the fuck up. His striking is not great whatsoever. He's got some good leg kicks here and there, but I mean, doesn't throw a ton of volume. He's just looking to come forward, throw something to get into the clinch, and drag it to the mat. So we're going to get to the point where what if he doesn't finish Hall early? Because I know he's got the decision win over Arroyo, but he's 4 of his last 5 wins have come in the first round.
Yep.
So, and if Hall gets up and is hammering him, he's not going to be able to last 15 minutes if he's not holding Hall down. So, at any given moment, he can get his head knocked clean off his shoulders while this fight's on the feet. And I'm banking on Hall just not getting finished in round 1 and see what the fuck happens in round 2, because I would even live bet Hall after round 1. He'd probably be astronomical. because he's probably going to drop the first round. And we really don't know what we're going to get from Muniz after round 2. We haven't seen him go to round 2 since 2019. It's been 3 years. So, and he's not, I mean, and then he's going to face a guy that's got a lot more power than Arroyo, and Arroyo was fucking him up on the feet. So, we'll see.
I like it.
I like the play here. I think Hall's getting overlooked. I mean, I know he lost his last fight and he got grappled a bit, in the third and fourth round of that fight. But I mean, I'm taking a shot on a guy that's seasoned. He's got the power. As long as the fight's on the feet, he can get back up. He's got the chance to win the fight. So we'll see what happens. But I'm taking a shot on Uriah Hall winning this fight inside the distance by knockout. I think it's plus 400. I think.
Well, I like the point that Forrest makes here while you're looking that up. Hall always shit the bed in important fights. Well, the response to that is this really isn't that important of a fight. So
no, it's like he's already come off a loss, so he doesn't have really a ton of a momentum. So he can come in there and is like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go in there and fight my fight, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, and we're early in the card too. So I mean, this is probably one of the fights that has the least amount of pressure on the guy.
And a lot of pressure on the other side because the other guy is 4-0 or 5-0 in the UFC. So he's trying to keep it going and move up the rankings.
I like it. The more you're talking about it, the more like I think about it, the more convincing it sounds. Yeah.
I mean, I think this could be the fight where, where the public favorite could possibly shit the bed against, the veteran, the guy that's been in there for almost 15 fights. And you're giving me plus 250 on the money line, plus 380 on the knockout. I mean, I think 4 of his last 5 wins have come by knockout as well. All but one of Muniz's losses have been by knockout.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you look at the Arroyo fight, he could not stand with him at all. And Arroyo is Hall is levels above Arroyo when it comes to striking. And they have the similar build, similar length, similar type of style of fighting where they use their kicks and to keep at distance. And he's going to fire that, that body kick that's really going to fuck up Muniz big time, just like Arroyo did.
And Hall has no sub losses.
Right. Granted, Muniz is probably the best submission artist Hall has faced, but still not getting subbed by some of the plethora of talent that he's faced. Is still pretty impressive in its own right. Like Gegard Mousasi, I know he finished him by ground and pound, but Gegard Mousasi is also a submission specialist in his own right, and he couldn't get the sub. He went for the ground and pound instead. So we'll see what happens. I know that's kind of a long shot, but I don't know, man. I think he might pull the upset and get the knockout win.
Seems possible.
I mean, it is possible. I mean, I feel everybody's kind of overlooking Hall. I feel like he's being overlooked by everybody, especially the bookmakers, making Muniz pretty much minus 300. That's pretty much bookmakers saying there's no way he's losing. And then you have him almost minus 150 to win by sub. That's pretty much the bookmaker saying he's winning and he's going to sub him too.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We got a fight at 185 pounds between Brad Tavares and Dricus Du Plessis. Right now, Du Plessis minus 140 in the comeback on Brad Tavares plus 120. Who do you got?
I like how excited you are for the last fight. I'm actually pretty excited for this fight. There's a lot of question marks with Du Plessis, and Tavares has been out for a while. I wouldn't really call either of these guys like world beaters, but there is potential in both. That being said, all of their recent wins are over guys that aren't in the UFC anymore. So there is that. I just feel like these guys are kind of meeting at opposing stages in their career. Du Plessis is kind of going up and Tavares is kind of going down. I could see Tavares getting KO'd here, but nothing would really surprise me in this one. I'm just ultimately like wholeheartedly siding with youth, and I'm picking Du Plessis. That's my pick and that's my play straight up.
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, I first thought I liked Tavares, but after really digging into it, Duplessis definitely has the advantage pretty much everywhere except for experience. Duplessis is younger, he's faster, he's hungrier, he's got more power, he's more athletic, he's more well-rounded. All these intangibles side with Duplessis. All the advantages are on his side. And you look at Tavares. Yes, he's on a 2-fight winning streak, but he's faced who? Antonio Carlos Jr., Amari Akhmedov, guys who cannot strike like Duplessis can, who's coming off of 2 back-to-back knockout wins. I know a lot of people talking about Marcus Perez was winning that fight before the exchanges, before he got knocked out. But we really haven't seen what was going to happen after that until he got starched. So, yes, he may have been winning moments of that first round, but Trick could have definitely still won that first round, and then dominated in rounds 2 and 3. He didn't get there because he just fucked him up beforehand. And I kind of expect, Duplessis to catch Tavares at some point and eventually finish him probably in the 3rd round, because I know Tavares is definitely going to fade. He faded in the Mario Akhmedov fight. He started gas a little bit. And like I said, this is the first striker he's faced since 2019 where he got knocked the fuck out by Edmund Shabazian. I kind of think it's more of the same like that. He's younger, he's faster, he's fresher, he's more powerful. It's going to be more of the same. I feel like possibly a 1st-round knockout could be in Duplessis' in the realm of possibilities, and keep it moving up the rankings. This would be a good test. And mind you, he was getting ready for Kelvin Gastelum, who I think was a much stiffer test than Brad Tavares. And I got him at -110. I know it was late to the party because I should have been able to get him at +120, +130, but I did my research late, unfortunately, and got -110. But now here we are, -140, and I think it might not stop until it gets about -170, -175.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know. Yeah, I do think that Tavares is the lesser of 2 evils with that Gastelum fight. I think he's getting off lucky. So we'll see what happens. It just kind of depends on which round Tavares starts fading and which round Duplessis starts taking over.
Right. And then we have 4 series. I'm picking Duplessis by 2nd round knockout. His finishing rate is remarkable. That is true. Very, very true. And mind you, he's still a guy that's only 2 fights into his UFC career. He still has 18 total MMA fights. Mm-hmm. So it's not a guy that's really, 8-0 or something like that. He's gone through losses, and he's got 20 fights under his belt, or 18 fights under his belt. I think it's 16-2 or 18-2, whatever. All right, moving on. We got a fight at 170 pounds between Ian Gary and Gabe Green. Right now, Gary's -175. The comeback on Gabe Green is +150. Who do you got?
Gabe should go by Gabriel because Gabe Green sounds a lot like Gang Green. I just realized that whenever you were saying it, because every time I wrote it down, I actually wrote out Gabriel. With this one, I do think Gabriel is capable of a win, but I don't think it'll happen like as much as I want it to. I believe Gary picks up where he left off, but this time I feel like he's going to bring the power. He's going to want to prove everyone wrong and prove everyone that he can get it done, within the 15 rather than the entire 15. I think Gabriel Green, I think he gets KO'd early, maybe even 1st round. Also, the UFC knows what they're doing, as this will be on ABC and the world will finally know Gary. This is a showcase fight. Obviously, Gary and the UFC know that. And I'm thinking TKO round 1. Gary's the pick. Gary KO is the play, depending on the odds.
Yeah, I agree. I'm fairly confident, just as you are, in Gary getting this done, as long as he doesn't get clipped. Like you said, showcase fight, ABC. This is where people are going to know the next Conor McGregor.
Yes, sir.
This kid talks like it. He acts like it. He has similar fighting style. And he's got extremely good counters, which is what's going to happen here. Gabe Green has to come forward because of the height and reach discrepancy. He's got to get inside. What's going to happen? Gary's going to be able to stay on the outside, use his length, use his reach, and fire back once he misses. and he's got to catch him with the counter coming in and finish him probably, like you said, early and maybe even round one. I'm that confident in his abilities. I know he didn't look great in the Darian Weeks fight, but different fight, different style. And
And
gave
Weeks is no slouch. Like I think
right.
people like just assume like he's a can because they put him up against Gary. I would argue that fight's probably a little bit tougher than this fight,
I agree.
but it's all about the style. So I didn't mean to cut you off there,
No, you're
but
good. And then you look at the last fight for Green. He almost got finished in round one against Johan. I
yep,
mean, and Johan's got some. Don't get me wrong. That dude's got some power. But I mean, he almost got finished, and I think Gary is going to show that he's got power, legitimate power. When Green comes in, he's going to catch him and he's going to put him out. And we got him earlier. I think it was like minus. What did we get? Minus 160.
minus 155.
Minus 155. Now he's earlier minus 175. I think he's gonna. I think he should. Theoretically, I think his line should be at least minus 225. So getting him minus 155, I think that's still even minus 175. I think that's a pretty good play as well. And then Forrest is asking, would you consider Green a sacrificial lamb in this fight? Essentially, they're giving him somebody that's has a couple fights in the UFC, that has a couple wins in the UFC, decent wins. But it's a fight where they know that Gary should be able to win. And I think everybody kind of expects him to get the W here, and I'm expecting it in an emphatic fashion. Don't get me wrong; I thought this fight was going to be a lot closer, but after I started really digging deep into it, I think Gary really runs away with this fight.
Yeah, and he's like I said, he's stubborn enough to want to, make an impact, on this audience that is available this time.
Absolutely. No, definitely. I expect him to really put on a show. All right, moving on. We got the next fight up in the welterweight division between Donald Cerrone and Jim Miller. It's an interesting fight at welterweight. Right now, Jim Miller is minus 200. And the comeback, Donald Cerrone plus 170. Who do you got?
That's interesting because the odds have shifted a little bit since Monday. Yeah, money's coming in on Donald, which does surprise me. But he does have that fan base, and that captive fan base that just is on his side regardless of the odds. 3 weight cuts in a row.
Well, this one's not a weight cut. He's not.
Yeah,
he's actually 168 right now, from what I've read. So that means he's not cutting weight at all.
That's still weird though. Like, so yeah, I don't know. Like, even to put your body through that and then just to be like, okay, might as well, try to be stable. Like, I'm just not sure if his 40-year-old body can take that. Like, what? I mean, I get it.
But what about Jim Miller? Because it's the same instance for him too. He had to cut weight and then he had to stop cutting weight, and now he's just chilling at around 170 as well. Because both of them are big 155ers. I mean, granted, I think Cerrone's a little bit bigger, but he's only cutting probably like 15 pounds at the most. And I feel like Jim Miller is kind of cutting around the same, around 15 pounds. They don't get too big. They're not too big of guys. They're kind of lean. So I don't think really the weights could really be of a significant advantage for Cerrone, because he's fought at 170. Oh my god. But neither one of them were really big 170ers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Something about keeps taking my mind back to seeing him on the scale. What was it, last week or the week before? And he looked like a damn skeleton. So like, even just putting his body in that, I get it. Jim went through the same thing or something very similar. I just don't see this working out for Donald Cerrone. I think it's too much. Like, too often, and I think his lifestyle is probably going to start to kind of add up on him a little bit. The dude is 40. I think he's looking to retire soon. I mean, I think he will retire after this fight. It really ultimately depends on the outcome. I think he wants to finish on a win, but I don't think he'll beat Jim Miller. Jim Miller's always looking for the finish. And I think that he will finish Donald Cerrone. had they done this fight, 10 years ago, I would be picking Donald Cerrone, no doubt. And the odds, the way they are, I just can't really pick a horse in this race. No pun intended.
Yeah. Definitely not betting Jim Miller minus 200. That's kind of absurd. Whether he wins or loses, I don't think we're going to get any value in that. I just don't see him looking like a minus 200 favorite. I feel like it's going to be a back and forth battle. I don't think he finishes Cerrone. I don't think he has this immaculate power that he's shown in the last two fights against Mota and Eric Gonzalez. But here we are. Donald Cerrone's been finished numerous times, but granted, he got finished against Alex Morono, who's a lot bigger, a lot more powerful than Jim Miller. And then before that, he went against Nico Price and went 15 minutes getting teed off on against Nico Price. So I don't think he hits harder than either of those two guys. And coming into this fight, I'm just looking to play the over 1.5 rounds because I don't see either one of these two guys getting finished. And you're giving me that sweet line of minus 150, minus 145 on the over 1.5 rounds. We know Don Cerrone is a slow starter. And as long as he doesn't get clipped in round one, this fight should sail over 1.5 rounds and getting us into close to round three. And I feel like this fight could possibly go the distance at plus 165. Those are value there. I don't think either one of these guys. I think both of them are durable enough to not get finished. I know they're on their tail end of their career, but neither one of them are got some insane power in their hands or their legs. So I'm going with the latter. I'm taking the over 1.5 rounds, and I like this fight to go the distance.
Do you have a pick? Like, do you think you said Jim Miller?
If I had a bet in this fight, I'd probably take the dog and money on Cerrone only because there's value at plus 170. I feel like it's going to be a little bit closer of a fight than the line suggests. If I had a bet on a side, I'd probably take Cerrone, given the line that's on him right now.
I gotcha. Yeah, Forrest mentions, Cowboy could beat Lozon, but Miller's going to be a little bit tougher. Yeah,
yes, I agree completely with that. 100%.
Yeah, we were on Cerrone against Lozon, which it's crazy that fight's like cursed. It's not a fight anyone really needed to see,
right?
But yeah, I mean, at least we're getting Cowboy. I just feel like it's going to be happy trails after this one.
I don't think he's going anywhere until he gets number 50.
Touche.
Once he gets number 50, then he'll be like, okay, deuces.
I just think he wants to win, and if he wins, I think he might. Yeah, but I like the 50. I like the 50.
I think he's going for the 50, regardless. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm curious.
All right, moving on. Our featured bout on the prelims is a fight at lightweight between Brad Riddell and Jalen Turner. Right now, the line is at minus 145 for Turner and plus 125 for Riddell. Who do you got?
So I went back and forth with this one. I think that this is actually a really good fight.
It's a fantastic fight.
Yeah, I would have never put this together myself. So props to the makers of the fight makers or whatever the fuck you call them.
Matchmakers.
Yeah, long day. Riddell, he's extremely durable, but I think the range, like the jabs at range from Turner, I think ultimately those will add up. I think he'll overcommit. Riddell, I think he'll overcommit after getting frustrated, and ultimately he'll put himself into some trouble. 5 of Riddell's last 7 wins have came by decision, but I don't think we'll be seeing the scorecards here. It really depends on where the fight goes, but ultimately I think Turner gets it done within the 15 minutes. I'm not sure if he's going to get a sub or a knockout, but I like Turner inside the distance at plus 130.
I get you. I'm going to have to side on the other side and take Brad Riddell plus 120. I know I'm going against the grain here because everybody is on the Jalen Turner train. They're on the choo-choo. The Jalen Turner train. I get it. He's been looking phenomenal. He's finished his last 3 opponents. I think he's like 4-0 his last 4 fights. He's looking good. But with that said, this man's gonna go in there and he's thinking he's this kickboxer. He thinks this is his game. He can go in there and go toe to toe with my man Brad Riddell, and I just don't see it happening. I know how big, I know how long Jalen Turner is, but this man gets pieced up on the feet. He gets hit a shit ton. He's never faced in a legit striker like Riddell other than Vicente Luque. And look what happened in that fight. Got knocked the fuck out. I know it's at 170 pounds here, and I get it. But Riddell, he's a big-ass 155er. Short, but big. He's stocky. He's got some power in his hands. He's got some combinations. He's going to rip that lead leg of Turner. He's not going to be standing very well on it. And he's going to get teed off on, and then he's going to get finished probably in round 3 because Jalen Turner gets finished in majority of his losses. So I got Riddell going in there, getting back in the win column. And mind you, Riddell's only KO loss was to who? Rafael Fiziev, who's trained with him and who's arguably one of the best strikers in the entire division. And Jalen Turner, yes, he's got power. Don't get me wrong. But Riddell has faced strikers as similar to Turner. Actually, his last kickboxing match before turning pro in MMA, he fought a guy that was 6'2" and a half. So he's used to fighting guys that are taller than him. And he knows how to, hit the tree, knock his ass down. And that's what he's going to do with Jalen Turner here. He's going to cash for us as an underdog. And while everybody's betting on the favor, betting on Jalen Turner, we're going to cash. We're going to cash in on Brad Riddell plus 120. That's what I got for you.
Heard it here first. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Boom.
The thing that kind of sold me on that though was what you said about the fact that he has fought guys this size. Like that's not something that I was able to find via research.
And then also he trains with arguably one of the best strikers ever in the UFC in Israel Adesanya, day in and day
Blood
out.
Diamond.
Right, but I mean, there's also a level of. But the thing is, with Blood Diamond, he's a striker just as well. He just doesn't have the ground game. Brad Riddell actually has shown he's got some wrestling, he's got some grappling chops. Blood Diamond's not there. He's also not as seasoned as Riddell. And I feel like in Blood Diamond's next fight, if he fights a striker, he's gonna showcase what he can really do. But like with Brad Riddell, he's like I said, he's training with Izzy. Izzy's 6'4", and he's by far the best striker he's ever faced. And then, Jalen Turner 6'3", and he's nowhere near the level of Izzy when it comes to striking. So if he can strike with him, if he trains with him every single day, and then he trains with Carlos Orberg, who's also huge and a great kickboxer in his own right.
He has a really good jab too.
Yeah, so we've seen last week. But we'll see. And I don't know, man. I really like Riddell to get back in the win column, and I think everybody's like overblown with this line. I mean, Riddell is now a 125 favorite because he lost to Fiziev, who's top 5, top 4.
Best,
yeah, one of the best in the entire division. And Jalen Turner beat who? Huh? Nobody? Like literally nobody. So we'll see. I mean, he can prove me wrong. He can go in there and starch Riddell because, Riddell's gotten hurt time and time again. But he's shown them the man is durable. It took Fiziev to put him out. And we'll see. I feel like if it gets after round 1 and he can take the power of Turner, he's going to fuck him up in rounds 2 and 3. Guaranteed.
Yeah. I like it. I do like it.
All right. Moving on. Our first fight up in the main card is a fight at bantamweight between Pedro Munoz and Sean O'Malley. Right now, O'Malley is at a minus 295, minus 300 favorite to come back on Munoz, plus 245, plus 250. Who do you got?
That's crazy. That's a crazy line, man. Munoz is a pretty big step up in comp for O'Malley. He's, excluding the one loss, he hasn't really fought anybody. Really,
he's going from Howley and Paiva to Pedro Munoz.
Yeah, and I like Paiva, but like it's a pretty big step. Does that mean that O'Malley will lose? Probably not. I think Sean pours on the punches at range here, maybe even hurts Munoz, but I really, honestly, truly don't think he gets the finish. I think Munoz has went to decision in his last 5 fights, and after Saturday, it'll probably go to 6. I like O'Malley by decision at plus 200, and maybe even the over 2.5. I just really don't see a reason why O'Malley should lose this fight. I think he's getting Munoz at the right time. I think the UFC knows that. And yeah, O'Malley continues to get fed guys that are, near the end of their career or, just kind of play into his abilities.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is another tailor-made matchup for him because he's a guy that just comes forward, throws leg kicks, but he gets touched up in every single fight with relative ease. He doesn't really move his head much. His head is sitting there on the center line, and O'Malley should be able to just pick him apart at range. He's shorter, so he's gonna be able to use his head kick a lot easier, and just everything. He's just gonna be he's just gonna throw way too much. As long as O'Malley doesn't gas himself out throwing too much and exerting himself, he should be fine to skate to a unanimous decision victory and just tuning him up from the outside. I think I like the decision prop plus 200. I think Munoz is durable enough to not get knocked out. O'Malley,
Yeah.
O'Malley's not he's not really knocking out anybody worthwhile. Paiva, I mean, whoever else before that, just no.
Yeah.
we don't even talked about anybody else before that other than Cheeto Vera, who's obviously durable enough. So yeah, I got O'Malley. He should run away with this. I got him at minus 260, minus 265 earlier in the week. And this is around the line where I'm kind of like
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. I don't need any more O'Malley action, but I do like the decision prop plus 200.
Yeah, I saw that. I was a little surprised at how good it looked, just based on the fact that Munoz goes to the decision so often. I don't think it's going to be like a close fight, just based on the fact that O'Malley will fight at range, continue to look at the clock, just pace
Yeah,
himself. I don't know.
just sticking him out there, just throwing long range attacks, not letting Munoz really get to him, and just have to check a lot of calf kick. That's pretty much the only thing he's really going to land. It's going to be hard for him to really land anything worthwhile to the head. It's going to be more calf kicks and body attacks than anything else.
Well, now that you mention that, and I know Forrest says that he has money on Munoz, which it might not be a bad play to actually have money on Munoz, because if he continues to block the calf kicks, I mean, we do know that O'Malley has a history of issues with his leg. Um, I mean, I don't see it happening, but at the same time, I mean, that might be your only way out of the fight as far as a win with Munoz. But like I said, I really do think O'Malley gets it by decision here.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if you're going to bet Munoz, you might as well take him by KO, TKO, because he's going to stop O'Malley with leg kicks or something like that. And he's not going to win a decision. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We got a fight in the welterweight division between Robbie Lawler and Brian Barberena. Right now, Lawler minus 120. Come back on Barberena plus 100. Who do you got?
Yeah, so this is another one that I kind of went back and forth with. It pains me to say it, but the Lawler we know and love, I really just truly feel is no more. While he did win, he really didn't look great against Diaz. And while Barberena hasn't been his former self either, I think he has had the time to recover. Like we went back and forth with him versus Matt Brown. I had Brown, you had him. Obviously, one of us was wrong. Not going to say who, but I'm happy to say I'm happy to pick Barberena in this one. The plus money I think is extremely appetizing, but I just really feel like maybe his heart is just in it a little bit more. I'm not saying Lawler doesn't have heart. What I'm saying is I just feel like Barberena would fight for my money, and I think he's going to do that on Saturday.
I agree. I definitely agree. You know, I feel like that fight with Matt Brown was closer than it should have been. I
Yeah.
don't I don't think it should have been a split. I feel like he should have won at least two of the rounds, but it was closer than it should have been. Let's put it that way. And then Lawler, how do you drop a round to Nick Diaz, who hasn't fought in like what, a decade? He hasn't fought in a decade. The dude couldn't even make 170 pounds, so he had to fight you at middleweight. Like, okay. And you lose a round to him. And then he literally gave up because he was just like, fuck it. I'm done. He didn't even get hurt. He just like gave up because he just didn't have the cardio to go anymore. Like, okay.
TKO by retirement.
And it's minus 125 on Lawler. And then also, when the hell was the last time that Lawler won a decision? Was all the way back in 2017 against Donald Cerrone. That was the last time he won a decision. While Barberena has won 3 of his last 4 decisions, and all of that has come in the last like 2 years. So you have a guy that's fan friendly on the judges' scorecards. And guess what? We got it earlier in the week. Barberena by decision at plus 250. So as long as this fight goes to the judges, it's essentially a 50-50. And I don't think Barberena is going to finish Lawler. Lawler hasn't been finished by punches, because the bullshit bulldog choke by Askren doesn't really fucking count.
It did on my book that night.
Yeah, well, technically it counted when we cashed out, but he hasn't been knocked out since Tyron Woodley back in 2016. Is Barberena really going to be the first one to do it since 2016? I don't think so. So I expect this fight to go the distance. I expect to cash a very close decision win on Barberena at plus 250. I think it's still at plus 225 right now, and I still think that's a solid price on the guy that's plus 100. I don't think he's going to get a knockout. I really don't. I just don't see it, So I'm taking my chances on Barberena winning a decision plus 250. I think it's right now still at plus 225. Great value there. So give me Barberena. Cash that.
The point you made about how he has the style that I think could play into that play is very true, because Barberena moves forward. He does attack. He does get in there. He's always engaging, and that's what has been paying off on the scorecards lately. So that plus money, by decision, or if you're not comfortable playing that, just play the money line, because he's also a dog there.
Right.
Because either way, you'll cash. If he does finish him for some reason, which both Garrett and I don't see that happening, Barberena is a decent play regardless.
And he's got a chin on him. I mean, he's super freaking durable. The last guy that really finished him was Vicente Luque. And it's because it was a body shot in the last like a minute, and he was going to beat Vicente Luque. Let's put it that way. He was on his way to winning that fight until he got that body shot from hell.
Yeah, I like what Paulie says here. He says Heart says Lawler, head says Barberena, and I think that's kind of what is playing into these odds. Like, everyone wants to imagine, the Lawler that kind of got him into fighting. My wife knows Lawler. My mom knows who Lawler is, and obviously my dad does too. But it's more impressive that my mom knows who it is. But yeah, I think that's why the line is the way it is. Barberena, is a name, but I mean, he's not Robbie Lawler.
Right. Same thing with Matt Brown. That's why the line was a pick'em.
Yeah.
Because of, it's Matt Brown. It's in Cleveland, or it's in Ohio. That's what drove the line. And then Robbie Lawler, he won his last fight against Nick Diaz. I'm like, these are two guys that are over the hill and probably shouldn't be fighting anymore. If this was like 20 years ago, a different story. But here we are in 2022. We're talking about Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler. And Robbie Lawler lost a round to fucking Nick Diaz.
I still can't believe that.
Like the first round wasn't competitive for Lawler. He literally lost that round, and then won the fight because Nick Diaz was like, fuck it, I'm done. Like, he gave up. It's not like he got finished. My man just like gave up because
He's just done.
he didn't have any cardio left. He's like, fuck, I'm out of shape. I've been smoking too much weed. Fuck. You know? He's like, this is harder than I thought. I didn't know I needed money this bad. Fuck. All right. Moving on to our feature bout on the main card is a fight in the middleweight division between Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira. Right now, Pereira's it's a pick 'em. -110 across the board. Sean Strickland -110. Pereira -110. Who do you got?
While I don't disagree that Alex is a beast, I sent you a photo earlier. I didn't really realize how big this guy is.
Oh, fuck, it's huge.
Yeah, like
huge.
He's a big boy. That's the only thing that scares me about this fight. I went back and forth. Initially, I had Sean. I still have Sean. I think I just love Sean. Like, that's really it. I want him to win, just so I can hear him talk shit on the mic after the fact. Pereira, I do think he can be stopped. I'm not sure if Sean's the one to do it, but the way that he would do it, and I'm assuming they're going to stand and trade. Pereira does lack, MMA experience, not experienced MMA experience, and I'm hoping that Strickland takes advantage of that. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if Strickland subs him, takes him down and subs him. But the issue is he does have to get him down. Strickland does have 4 subs on his resume. We'll see what happens. But I'm siding with Strickland. I know you're not, but the kind of like the last fight, my heart says Strickland, my head says Pereira,
and you can say Pereira. Pereira,
but I want to look cool. Like, I want to roll my R.
I can't do that shit.
Yeah,
well, my whole other half of my family can roll their R's, and then here's this gringo is saying Pereira.
I took 8 years of Spanish, and I still can't do it. But I remember when I was in middle school or junior high, my fucking science teacher was like, if you can roll your R's, it means you're a good kisser. And I'm like, dude, you're 60. Leave me alone. So ever since then, I'm like, I've been okay that I can't roll my R's. I'm like, dude, I'm Canadian. Like, back up. But at least I can, read things when I'm in Mexico. I can get around. And so because of which I'm taking Sean Strickland, probably by decision and or by sub. I think that the sub is likely. Or more likely than the other, but yeah,
who the hell does Sean Strickland sub? I want to know this.
Don't look it up. I mean, it's not important.
This man got flying rear naked choked in submission undergrounds. I don't want to hear about that.
It's not important, Garrett.
this man has subbed. Who did he sub?
I don't know. It was on SureDog, my favorite
Bubba
website.
Bubba McDaniel in 2014.
That's an impressive sub.
Bubba McDaniel in 2014. We're talking 8 years ago. Over 8 years ago.
Yeah, you're just pointing out that I did my homework, Garrett.
Well, yes. Yes, you did.
I just needed a reason to lay the money on my boy Sean Strickland. The only reason I am doing it is because I want him to have a speech after the fact. Lord knows that even if he loses, he'll take to Twitter and we'll hear all about Nazi propaganda.
Banned on Twitter.
Well, there you go. Instagram, whatever. I'll be happy to give him my Twitter. And we can, I'll take, send me a video, Sean Strickland, and I will post it on my Twitter for you on behalf of you. So take it away, Garrett.
I get it. Sean Strickland.
Yeah, you do. Bubba McDaniel.
I get it. He's 5-0 at 185. He's got experience. He used some of his grappling against Uriah Hall, but Pereira is a different animal. And I feel he's been working tirelessly for years on end, grappling with one of the best grapplers in the UFC in Glover Teixeira. Like night and day, this man working on his grappling. Night and days, he's working on his jiu-jitsu. Sean Strickland, yeah, he can take people down. He can backpack them. He can ride some things out. But I feel like ultimately he's bread and butter is going in there and throwing hands. He also said that he thinks he can outstrike any glory kickboxer there is. So let's see if he's really about that life. Because I think once you get punched in the mouth, I think things kind of change, and he's gonna be shooting for some takedowns, which should be the smarter decision. But man, I feel Pereira has shown some good get-ups in his game. He's shown not to give his back, which is also very good commodity. So maybe that would help keep Sean off his back, and be able to use the fence, get back up where he has a ton of advantages. Where I feel a little bit worried is if Strickland goes super grappling heavy from the get-go, doesn't get anything, and Strickland doesn't gas at all, and then Pereira's the one that's really gassed from having to try to get up from underneath him and having to defend a bunch of takedowns early on. Against the Bruno Silva fight, he was kind of tending to fade a little bit towards the end of the fight, but he showed he still had a ton of power in his hands, and he was still able to land and be very precise and tactical with his strikes, even in round 3, having to defend a ton of takedowns. And he looked good. I know he's only 5-1, but this is the fight that the UFC wants. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody wants that Izzy versus Pereira fight. Why do we want to see Izzy versus Sean Strickland? That fight is going to be fucking awful.
Why wouldn't we? Like, imagine
because it would be a fucking shit show. Yes, we have Sean Strickland saying the dumbest shit on the face of the fucking planet because he's fucking out there, and he's cool as hell. His persona and everything, because he's just like, he doesn't care. He's a people person, like he said. He is a people person because he's just like us in a sense. But
he is just like you.
Yeah, I don't know. He's more like you than more like
That's
me.
That's racist.
He's more like you than he is me. But anyways, but like, as far as that fight goes with Izzy and him, that would be like arguably Izzy's easiest fight of his entire career at middleweight. It wouldn't be remotely close. Whereas the Pereira fight, that would be arguably his toughest matchup, because Pereira is the only one that can go toe to toe with him in the striking. That's even remotely close as far as technical striking goes as Izzy, and he doesn't have to defend takedowns. It's going to be a fight for the ages. The UFC is hoping on it. That's the only reason why they gave Pereira Strickland as a potential title fight afterwards, because they know that he's not the best grappler, and they know that he doesn't have any power. So it comes down to Pereira just defending takedowns, staying on his feet, and he wins. Like point blank, he wins. He's like, Sean. The UFC is pretty much like, here you go, Pereira. Do not fuck this up. We want you to fight Izzy, and we want to make a shit ton of money doing so. So please beat Sean Strickland and win the fucking fight for us. They're like, here, It's on a silver platter. Here you go. Thank you.
Dude, if Sean Strickland wins and does end up fighting Izzy, I think that'll be just as entertaining, because he will say the most stupid shit.
But that's the only reason why it would be entertaining. Entertaining is the before of it.
Yeah, not the actual fight.
Not the actual fight, because he is not the most exciting fighter. He will absolutely get tuned the fuck up and wouldn't even be remotely close.
The other thing too, that kind of sold me on Sean Strickland was, he was in Curtis's corner over the weekend, and Curtis had a hell of a showing. I mean, how many times did he stop the takedown? I mean,
20.
Yeah, that's
like, I'm not saying Strickland's a bad grappler. I think you are. No, he's a jiu-jitsu black belt.
I know.
He's a good grappler, but I mean he's a lot smaller than Pereira.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think he might have some
I
issue
mean
with.
a lot smaller. I
Yeah.
mean Strickland is a former welterweight. I mean he's not a big middleweight. He's just a guy that doesn't want to cut a lot of weight, and he's a lot faster than a lot of middleweights. I think he's faster than Pereira. Pereira can knock him the fuck out.
Yeah, I saw a compilation of Piera, like all of his UFC fights, and it was like the moments where he like remains calm, and it was like he blocks everything. Like I was like, how the like he's like fucking Morpheus or something, or like it's just like and like then he keeps this like face on, like he just stays calm. He's like looking at like how he can strike next, but also Strickland kind of does the same thing. I feel like Piera's going to be stronger, but
Yeah.
I think the only path to victory for Strickland is going to be taking him down.
Yeah.
And this is I'm arguably more excited about this fight than any other fight on the card, just because I feel like both these guys are interesting, and we really won't know what happens until it happens.
Right, and and Pereira's on the fast track, just like Yuri Prochazka was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were talking about a guy is now this is only his third fight in the UFC. He's only going to be 6-1, and we're talking about a title fight if he wins, which is insane.
Crazy.
Well, that's also a testament to Israel Adesanya because he's about to lap the entire fucking division at this point.
Yeah.
Like, Pereira's the only one. It's pretty much only up to Sean Strickland or Pereira at this point to really test him afterwards.
I mean, Whitaker did beat him in the last fight, but we know how that worked.
I mean, it was a close fight. Let's put it that way. It's a close fight. I mean, and I feel like it's a fight that's probably going to happen again eventually because it's going to have to happen once Whitaker wins like 2 more fights. The trilogy is going to happen just like the Max Holloway fight.
Which brings us to our next fight.
Which brings us to our co-main event of the evening for the Featherweight Championship in the trilogy fight. The third fight between Alexander the Great Volkanovski and Max Blessed Holloway. Damn. Great fight on tap. I'm looking forward to this banger of a fight. It's going to be a good one, just like the first two. All right, looking into the odds right now, Volkanovski minus 195 in the comeback. Max Holloway plus 165. Who do you got?
Man, I really, really, really hope Alexander Volkanovski wins this because I really don't want to see this a 4th time. And we've seen this a few times, obviously, and I don't think it'll be much different. I really think that Volk will finish Max in this one, just so he can prove a point.
No,
you don't think so?
No,
I want him. Well, how about this? I would love for him to put a stamp on this one and get the knockout. He has 12 KOs. I know he's capable. Max he's weathered. He's not the same Max.
Come on, man. Come on. Like, does Volkanovski have like this
power?
Ungodly power that we've never seen? And then miraculously, Max Holloway's chin's just gonna fall to the floor out of nowhere for no reason. This man is he even 30 years old yet?
I don't know.
I don't even think this man is even 30. Like, Max Holloway, yes, he's been in wars, but this man is Hawaiian tough, okay?
Coconut bombs.
This man's he's just 30 years old. He's just 30. And we're talking about this man has no chin. What is this?
I didn't say that. I said
there's people talking about like, all the fights, the battles he's been in, and blah 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 blah. I mean, when did this man get knocked down? Eventually his chin is gonna go. It's what Volkanovski said. It's what other people have said. Like that. How does that make sense? Like, I understand, but there's some people that literally their chin doesn't go. It just doesn't happen. I mean, I feel like he's one of them. You know what I mean?
What's the odds on the decision prop?
I think it's like plus 120.
See, I mean, you
I'm
could
not,
do
I'm just busting your balls here.
no, you're
I'm
good. But Volk by KO is plus 400.
Yes, or
And
plus 350 or so, or
well,
whatever.
shit, on
Plus,
Monday it was plus 39 or plus 390. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a chance, and I was right about Durden. So I mean, but that's against your boy, Cheyenne Buys, Cheyenne Bays, whatever. I don't care. She's gonna have a different last name next month. So it is what it is. I heard she got dumped by that guy too. So bring her on over here. We got extra room in my house.
wait, wait, she got dumped by what's the name too?
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, that's the word on the Twitter sphere. But who
Oh
who
shit!
knows? Maybe she's banging someone at his gym. Like it is what it is. I heard George is really nice this time of year. But anyway, yeah, I just feel like Volk. He has 12 TKOs. I think he is capable of getting it. Max, like you said, is young. He's been in some fucking barn burners, man, and
He has.
you
I
know,
and I understand where you're coming from. Like, oh, his chin has to go eventually. I think Max's chin is still fucking iron tough to hold up to anybody's like power, especially Volkanovski, where it took Korean Zombie for him to really get a knockout.
well, and that's really just going to depend on what Volkanovski shows up. So if he comes in determined to get the KO, he might lose or he might win by KO. So it just really depends on what he wants to do. I always say play with the food. So if he plays with the food, he can point fight all the way to round 5. But if he wants to knock him out and he's adamant about it, which I would love to see that happen. I would love to just end this conversation. I don't want to see this fight a fourth time. I didn't even want to see it a third time. So like let's knock him out. Do it for me, Volk.
I mean, like I said, I get it because like you have more emotion to it because you're like fuck this thing. I don't want to see this again. Like we don't need to see this a fourth time. We don't. We don't need to make it number 4, but man,
but the weird thing is I would love to see Whitaker and Adesanya again, but I don't want to see this again. Like it's kind of like the Brandon Moreno fight, and
right. No, that I definitely don't want to see again.
It's that has also went to decision multiple times. Like,
Yeah, it's like
fuck. So is this? So yeah. So have those.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's why I'm just playing this fight to go to decision because I'm expecting these two motherfuckers to make another close fight in a decision prop. I feel like someone's gonna win a decision. It's gonna be another close decision. Half of the people are gonna scribe robbery on one side. The other half is gonna be like, "I fucking told you so." And that's exactly how it's gonna be. Just like every other close fight. And
what do you think? What do you think about like the idea of you to beat the champ? You gotta like beat the champ.
No, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, the more I watch this,
it's like you don't need to beat them up, like beat their fucking ass in order to like it. There's a fucking score system for a reason. You win the first round, you win the second, so on and so forth, all the way to the 5th round. It's not like it's a communal beatdown. It's like, all right, you beat his ass. A couple of these rounds pretty damn bad. So you won the fight. You're good. You're good.
Well, I would agree with you, except for that last Whitaker fight, and then people were crying that for the last Shevchenko fight. It's the more I watch this, the more or watch this sport, the more it doesn't necessarily hold true. But initially when I first started watching UFC, which was like, mind you, or some of the earlier fights, and then kind of came back to around the UFC 60, 70, it seemed like there always had to be a little bit more, to beat the champ. But as of late, I mean, I really don't. Most of the time.
Well, I mean, you literally can stand there and do nothing and beat the champion, just like Carlos Esparza.
That's exactly where I was going with that, and which is still like, so anytime that argument comes up, I always mention that fight, or There's others. I was just curious as your
I mean,
take.
that's the most obvious one
Yeah,
of them all.
true.
So, like, you ever bring up that question as to, oh, you have to beat the champ? Well,
Let me show you this Esparza fight.
let me show you a thing or two.
Yeah, it's
Have
like
you
I'm gonna tell.
have you ever watched Carlos Esparza versus Rose Namajunas?
Yeah, it's like that meme where it's like I'm gonna tell my kids that this is John Jones and Israel Adesanya, and it's gonna be like Carla Esparza and Rose Namajunas. Like that's a meme waiting to happen.
Oh
Forrest,
yeah.
write that down. But
All right, but yeah, as far as this fight goes, as far as the side, I probably lean Volkanovski. I just think he's a little bit better. A little bit better. I don't like the line minus 195. I think he wins by decision. I think the decision prop is what? Plus 100. I like the fight goes to decision. I got a minus 200 earlier in the week because I knew it was gonna move. It's now at minus 250, minus 260. I knew it was kind of gonna move because I mean, between the two fighters, 9 of their last 10 fights have gone to a decision combined. So I'm expecting another fight that's gonna go to decision. The last 2 fights between the two went to decision as well. So I took the minus 200 on the decision prop there. Moving on to our main event of the evening. In the middleweight division, we have a fight between Israel Adesanya looking to defend his title against Jared Cannonier. Right now, Izzy is minus 425, minus 450, even minus 470, minus 480. Come back on Jared Cannonier plus 340. Who do you got?
yeah, yeah. As far as main events, the decision play has been the play on the dog lately. I don't see that trend continuing here.
No.
Izzy,
Not on this one. Not on this
no.
one.
Izzy seems to always win the close decision, and I don't think it'll be any different here. However, I don't think that this one will make it all 5 rounds. All of that being said, I am laying the juice here. I laid a ton of money on Adesanya at minus 400. Izzy will do what Izzy does. And if you're betting this, bet it as soon as possible because I'm sure this line will just get stupider.
Yep.
Come fight time. I'm actually dude, the line you just told me, like, I'm so glad I bet a shit ton of money early because holy fuck, that's a lot of that's a crazy line.
I'm surprised it's not at the minus one, like minus 700, minus 800, minus 1000 line.
It is just Wednesday. It does feel later in the week.
That's
But
true. That is true. Like I'm thinking it's like Friday, but it's really
yeah.
only Wednesday. Maybe it's the juice that I have them sipping on. Maybe who knows?
Grandpa's old cough medicine is what we like to call it.
But yeah, I mean minus 470. I feel like it's a gift at this point. No, but we got him minus 360 early in the week. We parlayed him with O'Malley. I think we got it down all the way to minus 131. Right now, those two together is probably minus 150, minus 160 at the best. But yeah, I mean, what's Cannonier going to be different? What's he going to do different than the rest? I mean, granted, we cashed in on him against Derek Brunson because we knew Brunson was not going to be able to take his power. He was going to fade, yada yada yada, and it's exactly what happened. But in this fight against Izzy, I don't know what he's going to do different than Paulo Costa was able to do, like Yoel Romero was supposed to do, or like Robert Whitaker was supposed to do. I mean, I just don't know what he's going to do better. He's not better than any of them.
Yeah.
He's got power, but technically speaking, he's not the most technical striker out there. He's not the best wrestler either. He's not the best jiu-jitsu practitioner. So I'm not seeing what he's going to be able to do other than have a pray that he's going to get a knockout, because that's the only thing he's going to be able to do is pray that he touches his chin and then Izzy falls, because that's literally it. Because from a technical standpoint, he's beaten everywhere. Izzy should be able to dance around him. He should be able to outstrike him. He should be able to keep his distance without getting hit. And he should be able to finish him inside the distance here. And I like Adesanya to win by knockout at plus 150. I still think that's a good line. Even at plus 170, you have plus 170 on FanDuel if you have FanDuel, which a lot of people do. Yeah, I think Adesanya should really finish this fight inside the distance. He should finally get back to, winning ways. And when was the last time that Cannonier saw round 4 or round 5? I feel like once it gets to round 4 and round 5, Izzy should be able to finish him there without a doubt. But I feel like he should probably finish him I say he finishes him round 3.
Yeah, like I keep thinking about the Cannonier versus Whitaker fight. Whitaker just kind of had his way with Cannonier,
Right.
and then also too another fight that comes to mind is the Olberg fight. I really truly feel that this is going to kind of play out like that just did last week. Maybe not round 1, but pretty similar exchange. I could see Izzy getting a jab, couple leg kicks, something stupid, getting Canada out of there, fairly early. I like the KO at plus money. I like it early. I like Izzy doing what Izzy does. And yeah, if your boy wins, beats my boy Sean Strickland, then we're gonna definitely have a interesting call out after this win.
Man, I really want that Pereira Izzy fight. I want it so bad. I think everybody wants it so bad because he's the only man to really beat Izzy at his own game. Because the only loss at MMA is John Blachowicz, and Blachowicz literally had to lay on top of him with his 40-pound fat ass advantage. Because he had no chance of standing and banging with Izzy on the feet. So Pereira's one to go toe to toe with him. They both have similar stature. They're both 6'4". They both got like 80-inch reach. So it's gonna be the tale of two of the best strikers in UFC history. So, and that's like a great way to cap 2022 at the end of the years, considering that will give them at least 5 months to,
build
to build it up, recover, get into the fight camp, and so on and so forth. That's a fight I'm really looking forward to, and that's a fight I really want to see. Between because anything else, at 185, like Adesanya won't have a close fight against anybody.
Sean Strickland.
I literally I swear we're gonna get the most boring fucking fight between Izzy and Sean Strickland, where Izzy just like pops he's gonna play like Strickland and just use a jab, use his kicks, and stay at range and win 50-45. We're like, well, this is the fucking fight that we've been waiting for.
Well, the other option is going to be basically a kickboxing match, which I think is way more entertaining.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that the storyline of the fact that he has been beat, I think,
not once,
but
twice, and knocked him out cold. It wasn't just like a knockdown, the count. No, this man was out cold.
Yeah,
like that's how bad it was.
Which, that's cool, but we'll see. I'm excited. That, like I said, that's my main event, and yeah, that should be yours too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, technically it is, but we'll go with that. All right, so that's what we got for you guys this week for the KO breakdown for UFC 276. But before we go, my man Joe Danger, where can everybody find you?
Jesse Hobson on YouTube, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, General Consulting. Just Google me. I hate to say that, but that's how you can find me. I'm gonna make one of those link trees. That way you can. Yeah, I'm everywhere. But yeah, I interviewed Sean Patrick Flannery last week.
Awesome interview. I loved it.
Yeah. Thank you, man. He talked a little bit about UFC, MMA, growing up, doing BJJ. It was really cool, really interesting guy. Obviously he has a new movie come out that he directed. So yeah, check out the interview. Feel free to message me. Forrest bothers me all the time. So if you guys want to be like him, feel free to do that. I'm just kidding, Forrest. But that's really it. Yeah. hit up Garrett too, man. Join the list, the call log. Get on there, get early, make some money, and get rich with us.
Absolutely, man. We're here for you guys each and every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But guys, I need you to go and subscribe to the Playmaker YouTube channel, as well as like them on all social media, as well as the Props HQ Network. I need you guys to go onto the Props Network on YouTube, give them a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And we will see you all then next week. We are out of here. You guys have a great night, and let's cash out this weekend. UFC 276. Peace.